Oh,
Tusker.
yeah, we saw Polaris run the
5
Tusk
seconds remaining.
earlier, so at least they'll have some idea of the hero's capabilities.
I feel like it was different though, right? Like that was a 3 tusk. This is most likely a skill 8 tusk, considering they did get rid of his Earth Spirit. When I saw that in the first phase, I'm like, oh, maybe we'll get to see some skill 8 Nyx Assassin. Nope, that's been banned out as well. So you would have to think that, we were talking about the type of hero that needs to come through at this stage for Polaris, one that's really active. What's Nyx Assassin good at punishing? Spirit heroes. The Flame Guard, very easy to just pop the carapace and be able to take him out. If it's a Storm Spirit, you just pop the carapace on one of the static remnants. You're able to get that initial lockdown that you need. So I feel like with that ban, that's the sort of thing that they're setting up for here with Polaris.
They, do
Probably Ember, I would say.
you want them to go for their position 2 now, even though they have 24th? Because I think if you wait, then you'll see your matchup.
I mean, yeah, you'll get one of the spirits regardless. So I think it doesn't matter all that much. The thing is, if they would need to reveal exactly how a lot of this positioning is going, you would assume. So I think that's what they're spending a lot of this reserve time thinking about. Like, what sort of hero can we pick that it doesn't immediately reveal where this Dawnbreaker and Nature's Prophet are going to go?
Yep.
If it's not mid. So.
Radiant team ban.
I mean, that's still kind of up in the air, right? Like, we've seen Mac play it, we've seen Nico play it plenty of times. So. I mean, it is still open in my eyes with where all 3 of these heroes could potentially go. Batrider's obviously not going to be a position 1 core, but other than that, there's a lot of flexibility across Dawnbreaker, NP, and Batrider. So what Yangon need to think about now is not getting too sucked into just viewing this Batrider. They're going to get rid of the Doom, which is, again, a Nico classic hero.
Radiant team ban.
Might also lead to the fact that they're going for something that's a little bit beefier, a little bit tankier, something that's more of the raid boss style. I know they've already got the Monkey King for themselves, but wouldn't surprise me to see them go something a little greedier in the mid lane against the Batrider, something that's able to
10 seconds
contest if it is going to be the Batrider mid. Like, you don't want to give yourself a crappy lane,
5
regardless.
seconds
That's the
remaining.
big thing that I'm worried about for Yangon right now. So they've got so many variables that they need to consider with all of this.
Are you... Like, what percentage are you confirm that this is a Batrider mid?
I'm not confirmed at all.
Okay.
I'm just saying that you can't not assume that it is, and then pick a hero that's going to get dumpstered by it, and you can't pick a hero that counters Batrider because then they could just last pick and counter that hero.
Dire team pick.
Storm Spirit.
Yep, I like this. I like this a lot. It's a block pick for what Polaris might have been looking to go for. It also does fairly well against the Batrider, considering, the sticky napalm. You want to constantly be spamming those static remnants, use the overload to try and trade somewhat effectively, but you still obviously need to be very careful about your positioning, making sure to not get caught out by that flame break and the Firefly prior to level 6. So we'll see how quickly they might look to make some of these rotations through, particularly on the Tusk, if any kind of deep dives do happen.
Yeah, it's nice with the Storm, at least you've got another way to be able to start fights as well. And not only that, Tusk can also offer some saving aspect against the Lasso, but you don't see your matchup 100%. So we'll see how young PH can play. He had a very good Leshrac performance in game 1. We'll see if the Storm's going to be any similar. There's a lot of flexibility with Polaris as well and how they can run these lanes. They're back into. In fact, it's Polaris picking up the Leshrac in this game. So a 1 Furion, Natsumi picked that one up. And I believe a 3 Batrider to be able to go up against the Monkey King. So how are you feeling?
Don't hate it. I mean, it's weird, right? Like, the Dawnbreaker wants to be farming off on her own. And I feel like this game, when you've got Nature's Prophet that also wants to be doing that, you can't really give up a support for that potential, if that makes sense. So, like, Batrider, in order to rotate through and try and succeed with some of these ganks onto the high priority targets, most notably How, he's going to need a few key items first in order to enable them to catch them out before there's any kind of rotation or reaction that comes out from the ganked hero. So Batrider is going to need something like Boots of Travel, maybe even a Blink Dagger or a Force Staff. Mac, he should get a decent amount of farm, but they just need to burst that hero down super quickly. So I think this game is on how much farm Nico is able to get, as well as the positioning on Zorain and Skille, in my eyes. Because if they're in position to be able to block a lot of these smoke attempts when Boomy and Natsumi are showing on the lanes, then I think that Yangon are in a decent spot because they'll be able to be ready and be able to counter initiate on whoever goes in first.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued to see how the offlane's going to fare for Yangon. I mean, you got a tied Tusk, 2 melee heroes, and then 2 heroes that have a exceptional amount of physical damage through the early stages, but you're going up against 2 ranged heroes that, if they can play their distance, might be able to out harass you. So it's really going to come down to positioning from the supports in particular, because if they get caught out, you know, trying to sneak through the tree line and they run into the wrong little hidey hole, then that they will 100% be killed from 4 to 0 in a matchup like that. I also like how you highlighted the fact that, yeah, this game is going to be a lot of importance is on the Tusk and you know, the Grimstroke as well in regards to the supports. I feel like Tusk, we saw the position 3 earlier in the day. I know it's completely different now being played as a support, so would love to see an early blink for Skill Lane just be a great kind of counter initiation and save versus the Fiend's Grip and versus the Lasso.
Smokes pop as well. After placing the Observer Ward down, Nico, will he be going for similar? No, doesn't seem like it. They're thinking that maybe he looked to place down an Observer Ward there, might cause them to waste a sentry here.
Oh, Boomy.
He's pretty keen.
He's gonna run into no man's land, but hey, cool hero can just jump away. Not far enough, however, it's a Shard's beautiful placement. Should be able to secure with them first blood. Is really gonna make them work for it. But Zorain can land the Stroke of Fate from afar, and now it's actually just baited Nico in a compromised position. We'll get some assistance thanks to Max Split Earth.
Zorain
But
double
still,
kill.
there's another rain of the Stroke of Fate. That too is going to be off the mark, but Nico's still continuing to be pressured as Lun will claim the kill thanks to the Gush. A lot of resources being forced out early from Yangon to find these 2 kills. See if they can still stick around to claim more of the bounties as well, as Zorain might honestly just sacrifice his life and stick charges to play with, and he won't have to considering how many sticks he has. Boomy looking to get back involved though. He's going to go for a long wraparound, but seeing also how sticking over. It's another miss of the Stroke of Fate from Zorain. Is it going to be enough to cost the kill of CML? He's now got the tier 2 tower for the extra assistance, and those attributes are enough to keep the life. So we just got 3 kills and not even a minute into the game.
It's a little clowny, let's be real, but, you know, I think he wanted the trip back to base anyway, just to be able to pick up a few of those key early items. Important thing as well is that they were able to get down that sentry ward there on Zorain to block up the small camp. Very important as a Leshrac, someone that wants to be farming up as many small units as possible.
Oh, who did get a lot of the kills? Let's take a look at the moment. Grim, Tide.
And I think the tower got the last one.
Yeah, it looks. I'm like, hang on a second, what's going on? There's 3 kills. I'm only seeing 2. I'm not very good at numbers, but I know something's off.
It was a pre-0 minute tier 2 tower dive, so I feel like towers. I'm going for the tower in most of those engagements.
Yeah, you feel like they. That's definitely where you put your money. Stonks rising in regards to towers. Whenever you're taking a fight at the 0 minutes, you can never go wrong there. Boomy. Meanwhile, he's just looking to try and deny a full wave of experience against the Monkey King, a lane that... Do you feel like they need to cut?
I don't know, actually. Like, I feel like it's important that Boomy gets up to his level 2 just to be able to trade if there's any kind of like super deep dives coming through from well, actually, no, Zorain's not really going to be the one looking to dive, as Nico, he's had to use his level 1 Firefly just to try and get away. He should still be able to do so, although he's kind of cutting his own path for How here to chase him.
The space? Oh, well, he went back to the tier 1, so I have to imagine Dawnbreaker's got a Selv, and that he does, but Nico I used a crap load of mana, but Boomy's even going to give over a mango. What? Where are these supports in my games? What's going on? Selves, mangoes. Oh,
Well, hold on. Are you
Kitchen
queuing Oz or are you queuing C?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. But do I get that luxury in Southeast Asia as well?
If I'm in your game, you might.
Damn, alright. I better be QNC then. He's loving life. He just wastes a bunch of time for the Monkey King, who has got a lot of losses. I mean, a person who's got even more losses is Young PH at the moment. 17 for the Storm Spirit.
Yeah, and that's with his small camp being blocked up as well as a rotation coming through here, Skill A.
Yeah. Nice play from them. As soon as Young PH started up with the Vortex, Skill A followed up in a beautiful timing, and this is just almost snowballing the strong performance we saw from Young PH in Game 1 into Game 2 now.
Oh, I love this as well. This is something that I try and do. Yep, I do it as well. I'm like, bro, give me a bottle. You're not going to be using it until the 4-minute mark. He might just keep it for now. Look to try and put a bit more harass onto this side. If they can kill the Dawnbreaker, that would be amazing. But around the 4-minute mark, he's going to look to rotate. He'll fill it up one more time, give it back to Young PH, and everyone's going to be happy.
Oh, it does put Lon in a bit of a rougher lane now, being solo versus Natsumi and CML, two incredibly strong laning stage heroes, so it will slowly get brought down from the Nature's Prophet. Again, gotta keep in mind, we saw Jabs have some incredible, successful performances earlier in the day, but once again, they're looking to try and pressure out Mac. It does force a TP rotation. Who was that from? Was it the Bane? And Dawnbreaker's on cooldown. Nonetheless, Boom is still in trouble as Hal and Zorain should be able to get that little bit of vision advantage just to bring him down. And Hal's still sticking around at the moment. Stacked up the Jingu. 4 soon to be 5 sticky napalm stacks, and even Natsumi looking to TP down bottom. I love this rotation from the Nature's Prophet. I mean, who cares? Just TP down, get the kill. You can go back up top if you want, or he probably could have stuck around and maybe dealt like half the damage to the tower.
At least the one hit, you know, that 8-second armor reduction. I'm not done with it. It's too long.
It's too long.
Like Desolator has a 7-second duration, and you just get an extra second.
Mid-lane. Nightmare to set up for Mac, and a 1-2 combo. It's a beautiful pack-a-punch they have with these two. We've kind of seen it through the long history of Dota, where just Nightmare is such an easy way to set up for the skill shot in that split earth. And now this could really start to open up the map, as they'll... CML gets a nice deep ward down, even snipes the courier. They even set up for another kill. The Nightmare's available, but Mac kind of lacking in the mana department.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely go for that kill otherwise. And I like the super deep ward as well, right outside the Roche pit. Not that there's any kind of super early Roche potential for Polaris, but it points out any kind of rotations that might be coming through, particularly from the Dawnbreaker.
Zorain just taking the full brunt of the force at the moment. Nico a little bit slow to the party. Will give Grimstroke ample time to reset. It looks like Nico wants to put all his attention onto the Monkey King, who might fall another casualty here down bot. It's just a Batrider. And we saw early on how it could struggle before the levels were picked up. But now that he's found multiple of these, it's a great way to kill off the monkey. Meanwhile, Skill A is in trouble here. He's got to be careful of CML. With this invis, he's actually going to look to try and bring down a target through the Storm Spirit. Skill A little bit too late for the snowball, and Young PH will also lose his life in the river. So it definitely is quite the messy last game we have here for the night.
It's really messy. Like this, Tusk didn't have snowball off cooldown for another 7 seconds and didn't have mana to use it either. So not sure what he was doing walking into that. Maybe just wanting the second free trip back to base. He's rotated down towards this bottom side to try and make sure that this tower gets defended against, because while Nico was going for that kill and succeeding against the monkey, Natsumi made sure to TP down, put a lot more pressure onto that tower. It's already sitting pretty damn low. Speaking of Nico though. 3-man rotation up towards this top side.
Yeah, it looks like they've swapped the lanes here. Hal wanting to get out of the Batrider lane. So Lun's just following the Nature's Prophet at the moment. I really look to active this tower defender, but doesn't really have the
Radiant's bottom
items to do so
tower is under attack.
with ease. I mean, you could definitely drop the Ravage. This tower's already completely gone, so Natsumi, you were highlighting that, with his old roster, he'd played a decent amount of their Nature's Prophet, so he's very aware of when he needs to get active and when he can farm.
This is a different style as well. You know, we saw Jabs on his Nature's Prophet games from the previous series that we saw. He went into that Gleipnir both times as his first item, but it's a Witchblade this time around, which I don't hate. You know, Nature's Prophet, he's an intelligence hero. He's got good int gain, and it also just enables you to continuously scale.
Gonna look to pounce. Great timing on the Nightmare. Will at least give Nico an opportunity now to turn it back around. They don't have the T1 tower on Dire for this extra reinforcements location, but it's not going to matter as Nico can just burn the Tusk.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Well and truly is going to get to a stage in this game where Polaris will have 4 heroes with global potential. 2 of them thanks to the Boots of Travel. Leshrac along with Nico. Ravage Lund first of the game, clips onto both. Bass got some assistance on top of the backline, a lot of meta to be able to utilize as well, but young PH is going to look to try and prioritize down the Leshrac and will be able to do so successfully. So a big kill picked up. He's got some extra assistance flying on forward, but looks like a little bit too split at the moment. Gonna look to try and zip back. How? Skillay posturing super aggressively to push back Nico, but Boom is actually going to look to be the one to attempt the task here. But they won't have a way to be able to cancel the lasso as Howard just forced into no man's land. He'll still turn it back around. How is he able to do this? The Jingu stack's giving him so much health to play with. He's not even going to be able to die. Strength Sheds saving lives as How scurries away. Same with young PH.
Oof. Very close to dying to that Wrath of Nature though. The Possessed Mask as well, giving him that little bit of extra sustain that he needed.
Ooh.
I'm loving this from How and young PH, 2 young guns of the Dota scene. But I believe they're only about 16 or so years old, so they're just showing why Dota's still a growing game among the Zoomer population. Good use of the Soul Ring as well, just for that extra little bit of a zip to be able to play on a knife's edge. You think you catch him, you look at his mana, and then suddenly he pops it mid-flight, and he's got that extra little bit of distance that he needs to be able to create
Another
that
kill
extra
attempt.
space. I'm liking how aggressive Nico's getting though. You know, he's not being this sit back and farm style of Batrider. He's looking to do it all. He's playing together with his team. He's gone for those solo pickoffs. He understands the limitations of his hero. And then, you know, finally when things drop off a little bit, he'll look to farm a little bit slower.
Bountiful.
It'd be great if they had some stacks for him to keep up with that farm when he was not getting active. So Nico just has to prioritize getting some of the wave down bot. As we do see Dawnbreaker dropping throughout the Ancients. But this is an immense amount of space for Natsumi. He's top of the net worth by about 1,400 gold. He's got Witchblade completed, BKB soon to be the next item.
Yeah, I like it. Gives a lot of good scaling.
Teemo's got a
strike
Shadow
as well.
Amulet already.
Don't hate it. I mean, it's not like they need to prevent a ton of magic damage, so a lot of people would buy the cloak first, but it just means that he can sit inside that invisibility while using the Fiend's Grip.
Dire's middle tower.
Yeah, I thought he was in a position to be able to reveal the Shadow Amulet there, but Yangon just really overwhelming them by the T1 tower. Not a position where it's very difficult for a Furin at this stage of the game to be able to TP into 5 heroes from Yangon. You really want to split them up across the map, then have this global presence, which we were bringing up earlier, the fact that we might even have 4 who be caught out. So, and Tusker, it's just a measly kill on a Bane, but yeah, we were bringing up earlier the fact that Polaris might honestly have 4 heroes with global potential. Mac hasn't gone for that early of a boot to travel, but wouldn't be surprised if he goes down that route relatively shortly.
Yeah, he's got his Yule Scepter now as well, so I feel like he'll try and push this lane out a little bit, maybe back off, try and smoke together with the Batrider and the Bane, because they can absolutely go for these pickoffs in the near future. Boots of Travel, of course, up on the Batrider, Yule Scepter on the Leshrac, so they've got that additional layer of catch, not even needing to use the lasso for the majority of these heroes that they might catch out. And Monkey King, he's public enemy number 1, so if they're able to catch him out, don't even need to join with the rest of the team. A simple Rapid Nature is going to be enough for Natsumi.
Oh, that public enemy #1 is going to look to pick up his 4th kill of the game, and that he will do so, just getting closer and closer towards the Echo Saber. And you see how cool of a combo it is as well, with 4 points tag team and a hero like the Monkey that really thrives on physical damage. They're just able to rip apart heroes with ease.
Liking Natsumi as well, he's not revealing too much on the map. He's wanting to constantly be playing away from the rest of his team. Unluckily for him, though, as we see the ping just come out there, they know he's there because of this super deep observer ward that was planted.
I was in trouble. Mac and CML, the Roman duo.
Yeah, it's exactly what they need to do.
They do see Natsumi farming underneath by the triangle, so this observer ward's going to give them an opportunity to zip on aggressively to bring him down. They've got to be cautious to set up for the Ravage, which they do so ever so perfectly to boom his Solar Guardian. With the ultimates on cooldown, Yangon, they've used a lot to bring down 2 heroes. It'll cost them their life on top of the Grimstroke. Lesser Polaris looking to try and collapse and block off the retreat, as the lasso will force no opportunity to escape as Skill 8 dragged back to his demise.
Well, let's see if there's any kind of dewarding action that goes on here. You would have to assume so from CML. Oh, just out of range. Not going to catch it quite yet. I think it'll cost him an investment of 3 sentry wards for this one, unfortunately. But yeah, that's the exact kind of play that you want to be making on Yangon Galacticos, you know? Some really solid rotation potential. Of course, Storm Spirit is great at being able to pick off heroes prior to them picking up the BKB. There's nothing really in the form of save outside of the Nightmare. You saw it attempted there by the Dawnbreaker, but at level 1, the healing per pulse just isn't enough to be able to make a difference compared to all of this burst damage that they've got on Yangon's side.
We do see that Dawnbreaker's got an Aghanims queued up after the Yules. We were seeing last Pro Series, it was Q that was going Holy Locket into Aghanims. So a little bit different of a route here.
I wonder what that's for. I mean, they can see that it's not an Orchid being built up by the Storm Spirits, so they're not wanting to dodge out that with the Yule Scepter. I mean, there's nothing really that I can see that's really obvious. I can understand if you were against the Batrider, but I would personally prefer that Q style of build. You know, Holy Locket into an Aghanim Scepter just feels so much more effective to me.
Come over here.
Yeah, I was a really big fan of the Q Dawnbreaker as well. It was just cool to see how you could play the map. Regardless as a 4, you just... we'll watch it right now, but you can clear a creep wave with ease and then all of a sudden have a big ultimate that has some healing aspect. I mean, team fight prowess as well, and just global potential in itself, which is just more than you can ask for. Skill Ace just outplaying them at the moment too. Is multiple games now we've seen some cute plays from the shards.
I mean, the thing is that you might be worried about if you're on Yangon's side is that while they continue to do this to the Dawnbreaker,
they're setting up on Hal. Just an instant lasso into the Monkey Kings, giving them ample time to rip him apart thanks to the magic damage. But the big issue is that the T1 tower is a beautiful location for these TP points, as they'll bring down the Batrider and Boomy will join him as well.
It ends up costing you the Monkey King. I think it's kind of worth it if you're getting those 2 heroes in response, because despite the fact that the kills are relatively even, the net worth is going to continue to grow for Polaris. You know, you've got these 2 heroes that, again, can split the map and join their teammates at any time. You're not constantly worried about, oh, how is my farming patterns going to hurt my team? Like, am I not going to be there for a key team fight? Do I need to be playing around the rest of my team? And because of that, you could just continue to play like this. You know, Natsumi, he's completely away from the rest of his team, farming in, I would say, a bit more of the safer farm, because it's important that he stays alive. But, yeah, I mean, he's happy to join the rest of his team immediately if the situation requires for it. Like, I honestly don't think we'll see him leave this area on the map that I'm... Can I even draw on the map? I guess I can't. But the area below the Ancients, kind of towards the Radiant Outpost. I don't think we'll see him leave that unless it's from a global teleport perspective.
It does seem like, though, he wants to get active soon with the second item BKB. So, is there another timing they're waiting for? His top lane, CML, a solo catch at the moment with the Fiends creeping instantly. There we go. The plus global potential is just through the roof. But Hao is going to have some assistance as well. Zorain looking to man fight Natsumi underneath the Wukong's command, but the BKB soon to expire won't even matter. As a Warrior's Punch sends him up into the grave, and now they're also able to catch out, or will they? Lun, a great Ravage giving them an opportunity to turn it back around as CML. I mean, you can hide as long as you want, but eventually they'll find you.
I mean, the issue there for mine is that he comes in and joins with Natsumi, and the boys just abandoned him. You know, he TP'd onto the left side of the Wukong's command, so you can understand, you know, squishier supports not wanting to run through the entire thing, but still, he was left just to try and play solo against this Monkey King, and that's with a BKB being popped. It's going to be even more in Yangon Galacticos' favor once Hao picks up his own BKB, and he's only about 1,000, 1,200 gold away. I still feel like they can make that play again, though, right? Like, you've only really used the Fiend's Grip in terms of an ability that you want as part of your roaming ganking party. Now, you've got the BKB available on the Leshrac.
Oh, Natsumi, no. His BKB's on cooldown still for another 5 seconds. Beautiful use of the snowball. They even get a secondary stun on Mac, who gets eviscerated. The jump in too late from the Batrider will give them some retribution. Lun hiding the wins without the Ravage opportunity. He's just really going to offer as a brute force to zone them away from the kill on the Grimstroke, which he will do so successfully with the long zip in from Young PH.
Here I am.
Oh, that's not an ideal way to use your first BKB charge, that's for sure. Maybe the pressure is starting to get to Polaris a little bit. You know, they should be in a really advantageous position because of how they've drafted, but it's just not working out for them. Time and time again, they get immediately responded to by Yangon. It's not something where they're kind of like dipping their toe in it. Oh, maybe we'll come and help with one person. They're full on committing, and I really appreciate that about Yangon, that they're not letting Polaris play the game that they want to play.
How do you feel like Polaris need to set up the map for them to be able to play exactly how they want to play?
I mean, it's kind of hard, right, when you've got this Bane, because you don't push lanes at all. You know, the Dawnbreaker does. The Nature's Prophet can if he's looking to spam out that Wrath of Nature. The Batrider can, especially with the Boots of Travel and the Blink Dagger. And the Lesh can, just with his burst potential. So I feel like you've got to just take, like, a concerted, like, 20 seconds to shove the lanes out. You know that the Ravage has been off cooldown for a little bit. It's back up now. And now you can look to group up together and look to make a smoke happen as a full team. It's just a question of, are you going to run into the wrong person now? So, lanes are mostly shoved. You can see Young PH, he's revealed on the bottom side of the map. He's got a TP scroll, but he's only half mana. So, where can they look to make a rotation to? Probably down towards this bottom side or around the mid lane where there's not an immediate structure that they can TP to in response. But wisely enough, look at how Yangon are moving. They're moving to the left. They're moving away from the rest of the gank potential because they can see how long Polaris have been off the map. Same thing with Natsumi. He's not revealing himself. He's not providing any kind of information.
Yeah, so it seems like Polaris really getting nothing out of this observer ward, out of this smoke except a deep observer ward behind or around about near the Radiant tier 2 tower in the middle lane. So would not be surprised if we see them try and take a fight near this vicinity. With that vision advantage, they can look to utilize and then maybe transition that into an objective afterwards. But yeah, it feels like they're not growing in net worth. They're not really getting any pickoffs either, which I think a lineup that has a lot of global potential really needs to rely on as Batrider. It's used the lasso very early without any extra damage follow-up, so the Storm Spirit can just zip away to safety. Skill A, unfortunately, and will still get brought down, but Yangon, they've got Hao hiding in the winds, and in fact, they're just going to drop the Ravage. No messing around. Instantly evaporating 2 heroes with the help of the Wukongs.
Say what you want about his farming, but the Ravages have always been on point from Lun. Like, catching multiple heroes, realizing the strengths and weaknesses of when you can look to make the kill attempt. Like, they had nothing. Bane was dead, no lasso, no Dawnbreaker ultimate. Natsumi had moved to the top side of the map and no Wrath of Nature. So yeah, why not? Blink in, get the Ravage off. Even if they had BKBs, I don't think they would have had the reflexes to be able to pop them in time. Ooh, this is a cheeky, sneaky Roche though, and I mean, I appreciate that. They're feeling a little bit worried right now on Polaris and going for these ballsy plays. Look at that super deep zip in from Young PH, who's low on mana.
Oh my lord, Mac, what are those reactions? Maybe now you can go back and take Roshan. Ravage is on cooldown. That's
the only
a
thing they're
freebie.
concerned about is no Mac there. So are they going to be able to take this too slow? He needs to go all the way back to base, refill his mana, then Boots will travel back into the team fight.
They look to try and get that blink in. They just got the BKB completed here for the Monkey King. We'll see if this is going to be the X factor here for them to turn this fight around without the Storm Spirit. They're going to be cautious because with the ultimates on cooldown, this gives a pretty free fight from Nico just to be able to run on forward and burn them alive, as that's just the case as Yangon lose 3 by the triangle.
Just think how different that entire engagement would be if Young PH doesn't zip all the way through the pit. You know, if he just zips into the pit, or even next to it, just putting up the static remnant to see if they were taking it at a time. Instead, giving up his life, reducing the teamfight effectiveness. The damage is much lower if this Storm Spirit isn't around. You know, he'd gone a lot of points into that Bloodstone, but with that death, he's put himself a fair way behind now, sitting 4th on net worth.
Yeah, we saw... is this still a game, though? You'd be kind of worried for the Storm Spirit? Like, is he going to have some difficulties heading into the kind of mid to late game?
Potentially. I mean, he's going into the Lincolns now, obviously wanting to counter the Batrider in that capacity, but I'm not sure if that's the way you want to do it. You know, you've already got the Tusk who's been able to pick up a Blink Dagger. He's level 13, not doing too bad for himself. I feel like the BKB might be the way to go right now, just so that you can, you know, if you get jumped on, you've got the Blink Snowball save, and otherwise you've got the BKB to be able to save yourself. Like, Lincoln's isn't going to do that much against a Leshrac that's running at you. Also got that Enfeeble, which is a very large range as well, so if you show out of position once, you can just pop that Lincoln's quite effectively with CML's Bane. And look at him, he's just waiting here. They're looking to make that global presence happen. But no, instead he looks to join the rest of his team. They might go for a group smoke here.
Who's the target for Polaris? And it's only Zorain really showing around mid. Rest of Radiant playing towards the bottom side of the map, so they're just gonna have to... Can they even get the kill? In fact, Zorain has done a pretty solid job at making it back to the safety of the T2 tower, but where are the reinforcements? Along zipping from Young PH, followed up by the Ravage onto multiple heroes, but the answer that's not there at the moment from Hal. They've wasted a big Ravage, still with the buyback coming to play. They have killed off the Leshrac as well, so there's still a window for Yangon to turn this well and truly into their favor with picking up 3 kills. They're happy.
One again with a clutch Ravage, being able to turn it around. The communication wasn't 100% on point with Young PH still on the retreat a little bit, but man, catching onto 4 so many times, he's able to just make everything work for him essentially. 2 minutes left on that Aegis still though, so that might be. Like, do they have another smoke available right now on Polaris? I don't believe so, and I don't think they can even buy it.
Yeah, honestly, wouldn't hate seeing them make a smoke play if they had one available, but...
It's about to restock in 15 seconds, so I think that's what they need to be playing around right now. You need to go for this next smoke attempt. Bottom side, they're revealing a little bit, maybe just wanting to make maximum use out of this siege creep as they can. They know that they're so much stronger when they don't have to contest up against this Ravage.
Can push
no glyph either.
Such an exceptional rate. Furion, Catapult, Edict. Nothing you can really do on Yangon to keep this tower alive, so they're just going to have to look to min-max across the map. Top and mid shoved into the towers.
Play away from exactly what they want to be doing right now. That's the plan. So I'm liking this from
Dire's top tower is
Yangon
under
Galacticos.
attack.
It's something that
Radiant's bottom
they
tower is under attack.
haven't been doing quite as
Natsumi?
much in the previous games.
Just gonna run brute force into the high ground. He's still got ages for another 40 seconds. The help of the reinforcements now finally showing up as well. And going to just have to give up this area of the map now.
Yeah, just sticking around a little bit too long. I feel like at least it's only the supports that get picked off. They use the dieback timer there on the Grimstroke.
With me.
And it creates a little bit more space. You know, Storm Spirit is nearly level 20. He's almost got that Lincoln Sphere for himself, so that's going to be a nice key timing for them, especially with the Electric Vortex. I feel like that's what he's going to level up because he's been comboing that together quite well with the Zorain Soulbind.
I still feel like they can posture aggressively, but yeah, age is about to tick out, unfortunately. Have at least accumulated about a 5,000 net worth lead
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
with the first Roshan dropping. Natsumi's hitting goddamn
Radiant's top
hard as well.
tower is
Top of the
under
net
attack.
worth. His farm continuing to skyrocket and soon to be satanic completed as well.
Don't know how crazy I feel about the Satanic. I would feel a lot more confident if you went into something like a Sheepstick, for example, because you've already got the Witchblade, so it's going to provide you with a lot of extra intelligence and increase your damage in that way. And it also gives you that extra layer of
Radiant's middle
lockdown that you'll
tower
need
is
for the
under
likes of the
attack.
Storm Spirit, provided that you get rid of his Lincolns first. Hell, even just the Tusk, right? To be able to take out a lot of that save potential.
Some big items are being completed though. Skill A, Blink and Solar Crest. Got Lotus Orb on the Tidehunter. Storm just picked up the Lincolns. They're looking for a fight, ready to rock and roll, but CML and Mac hand in hand to pop the smoke. I don't know if they scouted out the Tusk. They're gonna be cautious. The Ravage just clipping the Bane, so there's no opportunity for the Nightmare to cancel, and instantly the Lotus Orb as well forces back Nico. They're just gonna look to deal with the supports. They'll do so straight away, but they're still gonna be cautious. Last shot of Dragon answered to work on command, so a completely wasted ultimate from Hal along with the BKB. Natsumi still looking to lock onto his target afterwards, but the break followed up with the damage is ridiculous. Natsumi enough to clean off the Tidehunter. Zorain will drop in the river as well. So Polaris wasn't looking like a good start to the fight, but man, they hit back hard.
Dire
Yeah,
are
for sure.
standing.
Cost them the buyback. Again, it doesn't feel like Bane's able to do all that much of anything in these engagements, unfortunately, but he was in a right spot to potentially catch out that observer ward. I think they knew it the entire time. I feel like that was a bait. There were pings happening on the map, and that was a ultimate that happened way too quick on the Dawnbreaker for them to not be expecting it. Maybe just not estimating the damage that could have potentially come out there. But it's 30 minutes in, they were able to claim the outpost, so the net worth and the experience in particular just continues to go more and more in Polaris' favor. I think they just purchased up the Tome as well. Didn't see who they gave it over to, but Yangon Galacticos, they can look to buy one up for themselves as well, if they wanted to.
I mean, it's scary losing one team fight versus the lineup that Polaris have. You see just two tier 2 towers instantly taken away, and now they're even looking to try and take the last remaining tower as well, or at least add a tower up top if they continue on forward. But this is now a lot of gold and a lot of map control in the favor of Dire.
A little bit less than 2 minutes on the Roche respawn. They made sure to check it right on the timer, so good understanding of the different objectives on the map there by Polaris. Concern now is
Found
the tide.
That's a big target to be able to bring down. That's pre-Ravage as well, which was still on cooldown. So
I love that as well. Most of the time when you use the lasso on a Tidehunter, he'll just be able to shrug it off, but they made sure that they timed it so that Natsumi was there with the Silver Edge, got the break, and made sure that that Kraken Shell didn't proc.
You die. Yet your failure.
Mid lane, who have they caught out? Alright, Dawnbreaker's gonna fall. Skill 8 also join him, so the price has been paid. Would have been so disastrous if they caught out young PH, but at least he's able to zip himself out to safety, so this has given them enough of an opportunity to get that tier 2 tower up top for free, so now all the outer towers are now claimed.
I'm not sure how crazy I am about this next item that Natsumi's got built up. He's going into the Daedalus just because of how the new crits work, right? Like, it doesn't feel like it's super worth it to build multiple crit items just because they're kind of going to overlap a little bit and you're not going to get maximum value out of it. So yeah, instead, he's going to go into the AC, feel much more confident about that just to enable you to man fight against the Monkey King. It also gives them a little bit of tower taking potential, which any kind of crit item doesn't. You know, crit doesn't affect towers at all, so much more well-rounded item that's going to not only help him, but as well as the rest of his team.
Nico. It's a long jump from Young PH, who has been able to accumulate 20 Bloodstone charges, so 9, 4, and 13 at the moment from the Storm Spirit, going for a Shiva's as his next item. Like, he needs just that little bit of extra armor to help out versus some of the Furion's damage, and of course it's always going to be a nice way to give you any extra mana to be able to utilize, but
pretty big timing on Boomy as well. He's got his Ags, he's level 18, and he's got his Holy Locket just finished up as well. So that Solar Guardian is going to be doing a lot of healing, especially if he's able to get up onto level 20. That 150 extra Solar Guardian radius can be enormous in the concept of all of these team fights.
we saw how farm Boomy could be in that first game here with that Grim Stroke. Unfortunately, wasn't able to transition that into a successful match, but you know, now we're kind of seeing the same thing with the Dawnbreaker here. Very, very close to the Tidehunter's net worth. So this extra little, you know, the extra amount of items that the Dawn can provide you through these fights and just the team fight could be scary enough for them to take it.
Level 25 just hit up by Natsumi, so he's feeling a lot more confident about just TPing completely around the map. He's backed up by Mac, CML, sitting behind him underneath the Shadow Amulet, as well as the Smoke of Deceit there on Mac there.
I know what's happening. Natsumi.
Oh, the bash!
Oh no, he's stuck. It's just gonna look to turn. Ravage drop. It's gonna clip the Bane as well. Once again, there's gonna be no Nightmare save until the last second. It's gonna be enough timing to give Natsumi an opportunity to be able to pop the BKB. But the Aegis, it's been picked up. Young PH has the second life to be able to utilize, but still they're all fighting inside a beautiful Wukong commanded the choke point. They just can't deal with it. Multiple heroes dropping. They still haven't dealt with the first life of Young PH, but he doesn't even care. They buy back on Natsumi. A costly investment for the team fighter. They're going to be cautious because now the Storm Spirit, a fresh mana pool to be able to utilize here as a long zip in the backline cleans off the Dawnbreaker.
Nicely done there by Young PH to be able to secure that and net themselves the kill. I was thinking, oh man, he wasn't be able to get off his BKB, but that Aghanim Scepter on the Dawnbreaker did do a lot of work. You know, we can't underestimate the impact of that 60% evasion as well with the Aghanim Scepter, and staying up for the full 6 seconds in the air was Boomy on the Dawnbreaker. Unfortunately, the magic damage was just way too much for them to contend with.
And it feels like it keeps getting to that stage when the BKBs expire. Like, Dire have this slight window where, you know, if you can pop the BKBs, get some key kills, then maybe the fight can look different. But if you're really not getting max usage out of these BKBs, then yeah, these fights are not looking good at all.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Continuing to push on forward, you got the double siege creep wave as well, so this tower will go down pretty quickly. Luckily enough for Polaris though, 35 seconds is the timer remaining on the next glyph. I think they're going to be feeling a little bit anxious about continuing to push on forward since the Aegis was reclaimed on the Storm Spirit and he bought out the Shiva's Guard, so he's not going to have the buyback potential, especially considering how close he is to his level 25. Might even scope out the Arcane Rune on the northern side of the river, which I'm sure Young PH is going to pick up very damn quickly. Yes, he will. Got a nice little stack for himself at the Ancient Camp as well. Never mind, Len actually takes that one. Was wondering if they might wait until the 37-minute mark, you know, stack it one more time, then look to take it just to maximize the impact of having those tier 4 items as quickly as possible to immediately go for a play onto Polaris as they're pushing down towards this bottom side of the map.
Come, come.
See what they can find. But it's... Do you feel like there's a team at the moment that has an easier way to be able to start the fights?
I mean, I feel like in general it's going to be easier for Yangon to do it just because of their overall vision advantage, right? For having a Monkey King who can bounce around in the trees, from having a Storm Spirit that can zip in and zip out and not really have the threat of being caught out. Like, it would need picture perfect timing to be able to catch him out there. You know, you don't have anything like a vacuum that can suck you out of the static remnant. Or the ball lightning, rather. They won't die this time for taking the outpost in the Radiant jungle.
Last time it was quite the costly sacrifice for that outpost. You know, sometimes it's worth it to put the body on the line. Sometimes it's definitely not. Mac? Oh, the long boy. The shots from skill A. It's locked in Mac, which will force him to use the BKB, but it's given them another opportunity to block him with the shots. The timing just too early from How's Boundless. The Leshrac will make it away. That's a pretty heavy commitment. I mean, BKB, use Solar Guardian, you coughed up the life of the Dawnbreaker. And Radiant didn't really use too really many big things.
No, they used the soulbind. They used the longbow, of course. I mean, he just showed the power of length there on the Tusk. He's even doing a pretty good job at being able to stop some of this push. The giant coconut men looking to push into the base now that he's gone full rat on Natsumi. Realizes that this is a game that, you know, that they had first-hand experience of what a Nature's Prophet is able to do if you give him the space to do so.
This'll come in handy.
So what can Radiant do to minimize that potential of the rat from the Furion? Are we gonna have to see like a Boots of Travel? Do they have to push through a specific lane?
I feel like you're not feeling that that anxious about putting your supports back there, right? Like the downside, of course, is that they can't quickly join the rest of the team if a fight breaks out. But they're not going to die to this Nature's Prophet. Like, yes, he deals a crap ton of damage, but he doesn't have anything in the form of lockdown right now. It's just pure damage. So you should be able to get away with the likes of a Snowball into a Blink Dagger or a Force Staff on the Grimstroke, and it can be just fine.
We'll have a quick pause here. Hopefully it's not as long as our game one pause.
Or the Tusk Shards. Nothing could be that long.
Nothing can, well... Sure. Not gonna say anything. Can't out myself. Level
Level 25 now on the Storm Spirit. He's got the Overload attack bounce, so I think that's the key thing that they were looking to play around. Can you imagine if the Polaris time ran out, by the way, and Yangon were like, unpause it, screw these guys. Just completely throwing that good sportsmanship back in their face.
Honestly, that would be surely they would not do that. I feel like they're too nice of guys to do that.
They are. I'm just saying, imagine a world where it was like, you know what? I am going to be scum.
It would be the toxic version of the competitive Dota. Just
There's a non-toxic version?
just the ease game is now accelerated to not pausing. Damn, that's a crazy world we would be living in.
Yeah.
You truly hate to see it. Luckily enough, you know, that's not happening at the moment. But in regards to the hope of Polaris from being able to bring them Swan back into their favor and really just at least win one map tonight as well, because this was a team who heading in today was 3-1. And now they're 3-4, and you really don't want to go down 3 and go down 5, especially with how kind of, I think, tight the top 4 teams are going to be.
Particularly considering, you know, going into this, a lot of people, like Yangon, they're a competitive team at times, but a lot of people would have been saying, oh, you know, Yangon, they haven't done amazingly in these past few tournaments. They're probably one of the favorites to drop into that last overall spot. But if you're getting 2-0'd by them, and you're giving them a couple of, you know, quote-unquote free wins, then suddenly that race for last place is a lot closer than you might think.
my pretty, fly.
Yeah,
Nico, they've got almost all of the neutral items that you could possibly hope for. Though. You know, the Spell Prism on the Leshrac. You've got, well, Cloak of Flames isn't that amazing on the Dawnbreaker, but Psychic Headband and I believe a Telescope on the Courier, which is dead for the Bane. So that's going to be fantastic at enabling the rest of your team, but most importantly is the Ninja Gear for the Batrider. That's the key thing that's going to, you know, catch a few people off guard. It means that you can be playing a lot more aggressively.
do want to just see at least Yangon babysit this Kree wave down bottom. I mean, you've got a catapult wave. It really, this Nature's Prophet's just been consistently TPing in, dropping the treants, and then letting them do the dirty work. So yeah, I'd like to see Yangon at least try and protect this for as long as possible towards the tower, but because of how much space that the Nature's Prophet's been providing, yeah, they've got to go top now instead of being the ones with the aggressive front.
And now, where do you think Nature's Prophet goes?
Straight back down to bot, push someone out, baby. And it's going to do just that. So Natsumi, you're really utilizing this removal of the teleportation cooldown to perfection.
I feel like obviously Storm Spirit had to come back, right, to be able to defend against that. And he's able to join the rest of his team quicker than a lot of these other heroes. But I feel like the play potentially, and you know, hindsight's 2020, was for the rest of the team to stay down towards the bottom side and just out of vision, and hopefully try and catch out Nature's Prophet when he looks to make that rotation to, you know, get the quote-unquote easy farm. So be able to see the Batrider. He's under the ninja gear, but they see
they
the
might have
firefly
seen
burning.
Mac. Aeon Disc, BKB. See if the chain control is going to be perfect. They used the punch incredibly early, but yeah, you're right. He TP'd early.
Purge the elements now.
So it will not matter how dominating streak. A big kill to find as well on the Leshrac, who doesn't have a buyback. So this is about an 80-second window here where Yangon can maybe get something out of the map in regards to objectives.
Got it.
Now, I don't know if Natsumi's just lazy, but the fact that he's, you know, TPing the tiniest little distances around this map just to be able to farm neutral camps is just funny to me. It reminds me of like that that thing in Wall-E where you've got all of the people just sitting on their floating little hoverboard things and they're morbidly obese. That's kind of what this reminds me of. What's that? I need to walk 3 steps? Teleport.
Yeah, it's what a cool hero, what a cool talent. Look at this guy go. Wherever he wants. Farm at his fingertips. Top of the net worth. MKB is going to be the next item of choice here from Natsumi. So looking to try and deal with the butterfly evasion. I don't believe there's anything else that he has to keep in mind.
No, he's already got the True Strike as well from the Witchblade. So that's going a long way towards dealing damage to this Monkey King.
Feels like though this next Roshan could be a big reason of who's going to take this game. Up in a minute. And honestly, Radiant feels like they're probably more favored to win a fight around a choke point like this, especially with all their big ultimates.
Ooh. This is an item that I'm looking forward to seeing if we get to that point. Dawnbreaker. Check what the quick buy's got for him.
Wind Waker. Okay.
Now,
wait,
one thing that I'm not
range?
100% aware of. It's pretty short from my understanding, but I also don't know when Dawnbreaker's up in the air. I'm not sure if you can use items while you're up in the air, and if you can, I'm not sure if it counts you as being like over the top of the landing spot or if it's over the top of where you started. Because can you imagine if you could just like use Wind Waker while you're up in the air above someone, healing them and giving them evasion or something like that?
You die.
That's quite the play.
Lives on.
See,
If that's how it works.
if that's how it works. That's
I might just be
the
talking
question.
about my ass right now.
Truly, we don't know if that's going to be a factor or not, but I mean, how's the probability looking? 65% for Yangon. Okay, so it's still very even. I mean, it's only a 3,000 net worth lead. Yeah, Roshan's back up. third Roche of the game. We've got the Refresher Shard available. We saw what could happen in game one when Monkey King was able to get his hands on this, and even the Tidehunter as well. So these big ultimates could be a threat, and it looks like Dire, they're not even set up to contest this.
Not at all, and especially now, not that Skille has been able to take away the outpost, so they have no way of rejoining this. They're looking to smoke up together, but I think it'll be a little bit too late. Natsumi TPing towards the top side. He might see it, yeah, he's being pinged out right now by Young PH, but they're just saying, nope, just secure the Roche.
Not the start to
Although
fight.
they've got the Lincolns.
Storm Spirit super far in the backline. Fiend's Grip as well is going to be enough control to bring him down. Now it does have a buyback. It's going to look to rejoin the Fave with the Ravage as well. Combined up with the Wukong's a secondary Ravage is enough to obliterate the Nature's Prophet, and they're not done just yet. As Hao and Young PH wants more blood. They sense it in the water, and they should be able to find it with Max no escape. 3 down, soon to be a 4th, and another team fight where Yangon just overwhelmed them with the mass amount of ultimates.
Yeah, that was the Refresher Shard used there. They've even got the cheese that they can look to give over to Young PH if he wants it. I'm sure he wants it, but he'll fill up the bottle first, look to rejoin the rest of his team, and yeah, they don't know about it, but no buyback available on this Leshrac. So, I mean, they might look to do it on these 3 heroes, but they're gonna feel somewhat hesitant. In fact, there's no Ravage though. It's pretty tempting to try and make the turnaround in this way.
Dire's middle tower is
We'll
under
see.
attack.
Even Grimstroke's actually going to look to buy back.
Dire's
Are they
middle tower
throning
has
it?
fallen.
I mean, Furion's got buyback.
One must
They're
Let's
testing buybacks.
the sun also
I'll
rise.
get one.
No
Dire
Firefly. Sorry,
already used
no
Cliff.
Lasso.
Wait, Young PH bought a
Dire's
Deso.
middle tower
Hang
All right.
on. Well, they're going to be all in now. As soon as they see the Desolate, you're like, okay, yeah, we're going to buy back. But how simultaneously, he's happy with dropping the Wukongs. They've just got the Aegis as well with the Danfidge and Polaris. You got to do something. Your thrones
They're just saying
explode.
not again.
You got to run inside the ring, but it looks like it's not going to matter. The Furion, that's the demise. That's the thorn in the side for the entirety of this game as we're done and dusted. As the bottom team able to 2-0 Polaris.
Wow, wow, wow. Yangon Galacticos really turning up today, particularly... I mean, I would say that game, it was Lun, I would call, as my MVP for that one. Just every single Ravage was a banger, hitting it time after time after time. And, yeah, every single team fight just seemed to turn around in their favor once he made his presence known.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it wasn't... His game one was a little bit more rough. I think he had like a 1-9 KDA or KD, but he...
Not a lot of farm either.
Yeah, definitely not a lot of fun, but exactly like you said, with how he was able to play in regards to Ravages, and it's a cool combo with just this Monkey King Tidehunter. You know, we've seen a lot of the flexibility throughout the past couple of days, in particular with how these heroes can be played in multiple roles, but this is 2 games in a row now where the Monkey King as position 1 has had some success.
Yeah, I mean, for both of them, it's been Hao though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so he's the only successful position 1 Monkey King so far. I felt like game 1, it was on the back of Young PH and his Leshrac performance. This time around, I think he more than held his own. He made a lot of good rotations. He was good at fighting. He was using his Wukong's rings as well in really effective spots to be able to protect, to do damage as well as protect his team. So yeah, another tick for Hao, in my opinion. I think he's growing into a very solid core in the Southeast Asian scene.
Definitely. I still want to see him on different heroes though, because I think when we were watching Yangon, we saw a lot of the Phantom Lancer and a lot of the Clinks. Like it was just very 2-dimensional, I guess. He had some heroes that he was incredibly strong on, but once they started to get banned out, then he had some difficulties being able to have success on other heroes. So I'm excited to see in regards to Yangon if their later stages of the groups and how they can look to prioritize Hao's hero pool. But at the moment, unfortunately for Polaris, yeah, they're going to end today 0-4. Definitely not the day they were hoping for, but we are now 5 days done and dusted. for the BTS Pro Series 9. Next up,
I'm excited about tomorrow.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
excited. We got 3 really good series. So Boom taking on Execration, 2 big names within the Southeast Asian scene. Execration probably not performing to the standard that they were expecting, you know, especially having secured a few players from other teams that were very highly coveted. Boom, of course, looking to extend their road of domination. It's probably the second series that I'm most excited about, though. We've got OB Neon taking on Army Geniuses. For those that aren't aware, OB Neon recently on Twitter and probably Facebook, released that their roster has been somewhat confirmed. So they have, I believe, Palos, Mamang Daya, Enryu, Hustler, and UK as their 5 that they're playing now. So for those that aren't aware, 2 of those players, Mamang Daya and UK, used to play on Army Geniuses. So there's a little bit of spice happening there. And the results of that match will kind of start to make the divide between who could probably qualify for upper and lower bracket a little bit more pronounced. And then we finish off with a full Pinoy affair between Polaris and Omega Esports, which is always exciting.
Yeah, without a doubt, that there's always plenty of action on the BTS channel. You guys will have America's coming up in a couple of hours as well. But for us, we'll be back same time for some Southeast Asia Dota action. Again, Boom and Execration is going to be the first series tomorrow to kick us off. So with that being said, we'll see you guys all tomorrow for some more BTS Pro Series 9 action.